Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I will be working with the Stick It Down December 2020 single page sketch, and I will be using these little wreaths. The cut file is from the Silhouette Design Store by designer Kristen McGee. And what I've done is I used my foil quill with my Silhouette machine to foil the original design onto wood grain paper. And then I use the offset option to leave a little margin and cut around the foiling. And then I cut the shape out again from vellum, but I only cut around the outer edges. And then I'm just adhering the wreaths shapes to the vellum background. I like to do this with any frame shapes really. I find that once I tuck it behind photos, it doesn't create a gaping hole between the photo and the frame, and it also sort of lifts it off from the background. So in here I'm just trying to find the perfect paper. I try to use quite neutral backgrounds because I knew that the layout would be really busy. I thought I would be going with red, but it just seemed too red, and I really wanted that reindeer paper to work, but it was just too busy. Eventually I went back to the block colours, a couple of green and a couple of red, and I just thought that the red would be too red. So eventually I chose the green stripy one, which is a Kaisercraft paper from a Christmas collection a couple of years ago. And then I realised that a couple of the colours on those photos, the purple and the burgundy, were just really sticking out like a sore thumb. So I did have the little wreath shapes cut from like a lilac-y, purpley paper. So I replaced 3 of the wreaths, of the wood grain wreaths, with the purple ones. And that's just sort of helped the purple and burgundy colours blend in a bit. Now, I've cut down the paper originally to A4 size because I'm trying to see if this size works for me, because I find having to buy the 12 by 12 albums and page protectors quite pricey, whereas using A4 would be just so much cheaper. So originally I wanted this layout to be an A4 size, and it would have worked quite well just by turning the original sketch anti-clockwise 90 degrees. But it was too clustered, it was too busy on the A4. So I had the same paper in its original size, and I just transferred everything onto it. I found that it was so much better. It just gave a little bit of breathing space. It wasn't overcrowded, and it also allowed some room on the left hand side for the little side cluster which is on the sketch. I used the branding strip to cut out the little phrases from, which was great because they were just ideal, and that was just a happy coincidence really. I never before noticed the branding strip on this paper, and it was just perfect for the theme of this layout. So I'm just adhering the wreaths and the photos. I did this in quite a haphazard manner. I didn't want to overthink it, and it did work out quite well. I didn't have to readjust it too much. And then I'm just adhering the little Christmassy phrases. I brought some embellishment pieces out from the same collection as the paper, and I also had some hand-stamped labels, and the idea was to create little embellishment clusters around each wreath. I wanted to add the little cut-apart paper pieces with the numbers 1 to 4 on to the photos, just to identify them really and to tie them to the journaling. But unfortunately, it wasn't working. They were just far too big for the embellishment clusters, so I had to leave them off. And in here, I'm just creating the little clusters around each photo, trying with the numbers again, but they're just too big. They just weren't going to work. They were covering everything up around the photos. So I ended up giving up on them in the end. And then I'm adding little circular pieces with festive foliage on. Some of these have some phrases on which I am not likely to use on a layout, so they were just ideal to tuck them behind photos and hide the phrases. And I'm using the little tag shape for the journaling. And then these puffy phrase stickers for the title, which was just perfect to go on the little wreath. Now I did cut out a little bit here from the video because it was just dragging on a little bit too long, and nobody really needs to see me creating the same embellishment cluster the 6th time. So in here I'm just adhering the puffy phrase, "Oh what fun," as the title, adding a couple of little gold puffy holly berries, one for the title cluster and one for the journaling cluster. And I'm thinking about adding the little heart, but in the end I decided against it. I did bring some red embellishments out because I do like red on Christmas layouts, and it was just too green at this point. So I thought about maybe adding a gold star to every cluster, but I didn't like it, so I again just added one for the journaling and one to the title cluster. And then I did bring the numbers back to identify the photos, and I found these little like circular alpha which had the numbers on, and it was just perfect size, and it just looked okay. And I repeated the same embellishment elements, or very similar ones, on the side for the cluster on the side, as I did around the photos, just to create some cohesion. I added the little stamped label, and I was going to leave it at that, but as I was tidying up, I did come across some of the phrases from the branding strip, and one of them matched, and it was a good fit, so that was perfect. And that was that. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check back to the Stick It Down blog throughout the months. Thanks for visiting. Bye now.